Hello everyone, Railgan here with the call to action April 20th balance testing. Today I want to talk to you guys about new proposed changes from Blizzard. I'm not going to show them in-game, but I am going to give my thoughts on them quickly because always important to talk about what's going to change in the SC2 meta. So right off the start we have Terran, Protoss, Zerg changes. Zerg doesn't really have an actual, but I mean it is a balanced change, but we'll come to that. We will start with the Terran 4 though. They get their high impact payload mode removed, meaning they can no longer transform their force into big beefy single target damage anti-air machines, I guess. Instead they'll have their Javelin missile launchers damage increased from 6+6 versus light to 12. So it will deal the same amount of damage it used to deal to light units flat to every unit. I think it's a slight nerf against light units because the upgrades increase the damage a little bit less than they used to now. But not sure how important that is going to be. Either way, it's a huge buff versus anything armored. And right off the bat I want to mention the Phoenix, right? Because everybody's like, oh, the Phoenix Adept, that's gonna be crazy. Well, the Phoenix actually is not affected at all because it's light anyway, so at best it's a slight nerf against the Phoenix, but what it does is it makes the 4 more valuable versus every other air unit. If you have a look at the Interceptor, I'm actually not sure if Interceptors are light. Interceptors are light as well, so against Interceptors it doesn't really change anything, but against Void Ray, against the Protoss Void Ray, it's going to be a change, because I'm not sure if Void Rays are a problem for Force anyways, but at least with the change it should be a bit easier, because they like to clump up as well, like every unit that clumps up. And to give even more thoughts on it, I have a comment from Mattis right here. He says, so this will be a 22.4. This will be 22.4 DPS with splash instead of the old 23.3 DPS single target, meaning it's a slight nerf DPS wise, but all the attacks now have splash. His conclusion is that this is actually a major buff to the 4 anti-air. To be honest, actually way too big in my opinion. Since secondary 4 mode was quite fine against Brood Lords, if Force did single target damage against Brood Lords, they 3-shot them. If they also deal splash damage, Force might counter Brood Lords really heavily. Keep in mind that I think, I'm actually not quite sure how many shots a 4 makes with that attack. Can I check that? Here. It shoots 4 times, so it's also going to dip into armor heavily. If you check the Brood Lord armor, I think it will just make carapace upgrades against Terran from a Zerg perspective a lot bigger. Brood Lords already start with 1 armor, and the armor will of course increase, so armor is going to be very important. And at the same time it's going to be, I'm not sure how strong the change is going to be, but here's what I'm scared of. So right now if a Terran goes Raven Turtle, what Zerg has to do is to either use Vipers or Corruptors, because ground units, Hydras, they just get shut down by tanks and PDDs and stuff. Corruptors kind of work if you can fly them in, especially if they try to Hunter Seeker, but Force are going to kill Corruptors really fast now with the new upgrade, especially if they get their damage upgraded. So I'm kind of scared that the 4 Raven Tank Turtle might become too strong. It's really hard to predict, like it's already hard to break Turtle Terran, and if their anti-air gets strong as well, because Zerg Crown is already, I mean besides this foremost you can't really get very far, especially if that, I mean it's really hard to control for the Terran, but at the same time it's also really strong. So I'm not sure how thought out this change is. I think it might need some tuning. But we're going to see. I haven't tested it yet, so these are just my thoughts on it. Either way, TVT, I don't know. Like Liberators, Vikings, maybe you'll see some Force against Vikings or Medivacs, but no clue. I mean, I'm not even sure what the Medivac armor class is. Yeah, Medivacs are armored, so I don't know. Medivac will die in 5 seconds if they clumped up, all Medivacs will die. Maybe you'll see Force as anti-air defense, who knows. I think not, but possibly. Right. Next, we're going to talk about the Raven. Ravens shoot every 0.56 seconds, meaning in the old 7.14 seconds they shot 8 times, dealing 24 damage, meaning they killed 4 workers. So I think they shot 8 times, like I'm not 100% certain. Either way, they shot 4 times. They shot 8 times, killing 4 workers. Now they're going to need 3 shots per worker, and they'll shoot, I guess, I'm not sure if they're going to shoot 4 more times, but maybe they'll shoot like 3 more times, something like that. I'm not quite sure, like I haven't tested it. Either way, I'm going to try and say what I think this change is trying to make happen. Right now it's kind of useless to kill an auto turret, because in the 7 seconds, by the time you actually killed the auto turret after 7 seconds, the auto turret would have expired either way, so you only lose stuff anyways. With this change, the turret will still deal about the same damage over time, but Zerg actually, I'm talking about it from a Zerg perspective, because I don't really see turrets in TVT much, besides against tanks and stuff. Sorry, that was my phone. I don't really see turrets much in TVT besides against tanks and I guess Vikings and stuff. I mean, Ravens have their space in their spot in the early game, but in CVC the harassment has become really prevalent, especially with the rise of Hellion openers. I see Hellion into Raven into bench, and then they just constantly harass unless Zerg gets anti-air. So the Raven is there a lot longer if the Zerg does not opt for the Mutalist crowd. At least it can be if the Zerg kind of messes up. And in late game you sometimes see Raven turtles as well against Zerg, so that's why I think the change is kind of mostly relevant to the Zerg meta. I guess somewhat to the Terran meta, because the tanks will die less quickly and it will give Terran more time to respond to the tanks. And I think that's actually the idea behind this, right? Instead of just making it the best thing to pull your workers, and I hope that the Terran puts on 2 turrets so it's actually worth it to pull the workers. They want to make it so that the best thing to do is kill the turret and save that 1 or 2 or 3 workers, or however many you're able to save by killing the turret. Not really sure about this change yet. I think it's a good change. I like the direction it's going. I think auto turret is insanely strong right now, because I like to go Hydras, and Hydras can't really kill Ravens. Right, I'm a bit biased here, but I like the change. I think it's a good change. I'm not sure how much it's going to affect the TVT, and I don't think it will have much of an effect against Protoss, because I never see Ravens, but maybe I'm just watching the wrong games. I'm sure Avalo is making Ravens against Protoss, so either way. Up next we have the Tempest. The Protoss changes kinetic overload damage increased from 30 plus 14 massive to 30 plus 25 massive. So the only capital ships outside of the PvP meta I see are the Broodlords, right? If you want to call the Broodlord a ship. At the only, what are they called? Heavy assault, high. Well, the only massive armored flying air unit that I see is the Broodlord, who is apparently not weak against the Tempest. But yeah, the counter is the Tempest, of course, and right now Broodlord has 225 HP. They will deal 55 damage without any damage upgrades. 55 meaning in 4 shots they will deal 220 damage, leaving the Broodlord with 5 HP. A little bit more because of armor and stuff. Let me quickly check. I think it will be possible to kill the Broodlord with 4 hits. Which do they get? Yeah, they get +1. So if you get +2 damage upgrade, it should kill them with 4 shots, like immediately. I think you need +2 damage upgrade though. I think it's fine. I don't really like that Protoss is getting such a strong anti-Broodlord tech again, because the carrier is already pretty strong in the matchup. The Voidra, which we're going to talk about next, is seeing some use against Corruptors, and now they're making the Tempest strong again. I kind of liked it with the Tempest being a little bit less strong, but I mean, it's not that big of a change. It's 11 damage per Tempest. Mostly helps against Brood Lords and I guess against Ultralisks as well. But you don't really see Tempest used against Ultras much anyways. I don't know, like, I'm not a big fan of this change because I really don't like it when you give that one unit when you give the Skytos even more strength than it already has now. But I mean, maybe it's there for PvP because in PvP carriers are a problem and Colossi are a problem. Or maybe against Archons. Like I'm actually not sure what the again. If I watch PvP, it's usually Stalker, Blink Stalker, Disruptor. Don't think Disruptors are massive. They're definitely not massive, right? So I'm not quite sure. It's also only the I think this is only the air upgrade, right? So it doesn't affect ground units anyways. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I was wrong. It doesn't affect ground units anyways. It's only against air. Sure what the well, I cannot read the name of the weapon, but I'm going to assume that it's only versus air. Definitely makes more sense. I don't know, guys. You tell me. I think it's just there to be better against Brood Lords and doesn't actually have anything to do with the Ultras. So, well, battle cruisers are a problem, right? Now that I think about it, we saw TY go mass BC, so maybe it helps against BCs as well because Tempest can outrange BCs, and then well, I don't know. Like, I don't have enough knowledge on the TVP matchup, but I think it might be good against battle cruisers. Next, we have the Void Ray. I like this one. It's kind of on the. This kind of is like the Raven change, where they give you a little bit more counterplay. You'll be able to count easier with Corruptors. Corruptors are already pretty fast, and it will allow you to run away from the Void Ray, but it also has the potential to turn the CVP matchup in kind of a chicken game late game, where the Void Ray activated his prismatic alignment. Let me run away with my Corruptors. Oh, the Zerg is attacked me and I don't have prismatic alignment ready. Let me run away and hide behind my cannons. Oh, now I have it ready. Let me chase. Oh, he has it ready. I don't know. Like, it's most likely it will get a fungal or some storms off anyways, and then units will die, be rebuilt. You'll have Ultralisk run-bys, Ling run-bys, charge lots warping in across the map. Not sure. I think the change, I have no idea how it will affect the other matchups. I guess Void Rays are already shit against Terran, pretty much. And I guess Void Rays are also not that much. I mean, I've seen some Void Ray play in PvP, and I think it will be a huge nerf, especially against those Blink Stalkers. We'll be able to kite the Void Ray even easier. I like the change, I like that it offers you some counterplay, that it will not just be, oh, I'm getting attacked, let me activate prismatic alignment every single time, even against Hydras, because why not, right? I like that. I wish they would do something similar to the Medivac, where they actually give the Medivac, when it activates the boost, a little bit of a disadvantage as well, like make it cost energy, make it fly slower after the boost, or make the boost last less long for each unit that's inside. So you kind of have to think about using the boost instead of just let me use the boost, right? I don't know. I like disadvantages, right? Maybe give the Ravager one. After it used the corrosive bile, the next attack deals half damage. What do I know, right? Salad charge upgrade cost lowered from 200 to 100. Well, I mean, if you watch my stream, you know what I think of charge shots. I don't want to make this a whiny balanced review, but I don't like charge slots. Ever since charge slots always used to be a bit problematic for me, like personally. I'm not sure if charge actually still has that little damage boost that it was given in the beta. Guess not. I don't know. Making the upgrade cheaper, I guess, kind of makes sense. Sorry. Don't really have anything against it, I guess. I don't think you'll see. Or actually, here it is, right? Zealots temporarily increases movement speed, allowing Zealots to intercept nearby enemies, dealing 8 damage to the charged target. 8 damage. That's actually the damage of one of their hits, right? So their first attack basically hits 3 times minus the damage upgrades. Which makes charge slots really good against slings because it will allow them to 2-shot the Zerglings instead of 3-shotting them even without a damage upgrade if they charged at them, and it has a cooldown of 7 seconds. Yeah. And late game we all know how good charge slots are, right? Protoss hides behind their Immortal Archon, or rather mid game I guess. Hides behind their Immortal Archon and then attacks with Zealots. But once again, like we also have to see. But people will look at this and be like, 100, what can I buy for that? Well, I can buy a sentry and a probe. So I'll have 1 sentry and 1 probe more. Really, Blizzard? You think Protoss will be fixed if you give them 1 sentry and 1 probe more? And I'll be like, no dude. But about how this works is, it will give you the upgrade a fixed amount of time quicker, because this is basically the same as reducing the upgrade research time by like 10 seconds. Because let's say it takes you 10 seconds to get 100 gas, 100 minerals. Some of you will say, oh, 10 seconds. How important can that be, right? 10 seconds in StarCraft is a huge amount of time. Imagine if Protoss warp-ins took them 10 seconds, right? Just, even if the warp rest is at safety, if the warp-ins took them 10 seconds longer, all their units will be there 10 seconds longer, and the same goes for this upgrade. If you're being hit by a timing and you can afford to get charged like 10 seconds quicker, just because the upgrade is cheaper, then that is going to be a huge change. And that's what we're looking at here. I cannot tell you how strong it's going to be. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess you see charge slots not really against Terran much right now in the meta. Used to be able to see them. See them a lot against Zerg, of course. So, and with weapons and stuff. It basically just allows Protoss to get charge slots quicker. That's what it is, right? Same would happen if you would reduce the cost of Zerg upgrades. Zerg would just get them quicker. Not sure. I mean, I guess give them some utility. If you reduce the cost of all the upgrades for a race though, then it would get a bit problematic, but this is okay. I think it's an okay change. I'm always a bit wary when I'm already losing against timing attacks that I know are coming, and they make the timing attacks even stronger, but we'll see. I think it's fine. Not sure how it will affect PvP. PvP, I guess, maybe a little. PvP, I don't know. CvP, maybe a little. And finally, Zerg. Undetected burrow move visual effects should be more visible. Not sure if you can actually see the infestor while it's burrowed. Let me check. Does Wikipedia have something on that? Well, I know you can see roaches while they're burrowed, right? Maybe they will make it so you can see infestors better. They sadly don't have a video on the burrowed roach here. Tunneling claws, maybe. Yeah, but you can kind of see burrowed units. I think this is an okay change. It will help Terran. I don't know what this is going to look like. I guess the changes are out, but I'm just going to have a quick look at. Did Blizzard say on that? Actually, it's here, right? Right. 30th. This one. Either way, like, it doesn't really matter much. I don't think Blizzard actually said anything on that. I think it's okay. It gives the other races more counterplay, much like we get more counterplay, so it's okay. We give the other races, we have more counterplay against Void Rays, we have more counterplay against Ravens, and they get more counterplay against Roaches. It will also help in the CVC where you see burrowed Roaches a lot, and in the CVT where you see burrowed Infestors a lot. So that's pretty much it for this for the April 20th balance testing. I want to thank you all for watching, and if you have any questions or if you think I missed something, please leave a comment and tell me. Thank you all, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!